The following video has been adapted to assist people who have experienced child sexual abuse within the Jehovah's Witnesses institution in Australia, so that they can navigate and understand the National Redress Scheme. This information is presented by the JW News Network in conjunction with saysorry.org. We thank the Australian Government for copyright assistance. This video provides information on what the National Redress Scheme is, who can apply, and things to consider before applying. Watching this video could raise difficult memories and feelings. Remember to look after your well-being. This might involve approaching someone you know and trust, or a redress support service, which can offer you help and support. Free confidential redress support services are available in all states and territories, providing emotional and practical support before, during, and after applying to the scheme. Between 2013 and 2017, the Australian Royal Commission into Institutional Responses to Child Sexual Abuse conducted a formal investigation into child sexual abuse and the handling of abuse allegations within institutions in Australia. The current Australian Government inquiry into the operation of the National Redress Scheme recently had evidence that data provided by the Royal Commission revealed that there were up to 756 potential redress scheme applicants identified within the Jehovah's Witnesses institution. This number is based on existing records which are understood to be incomplete. Included in the final recommendations of the Royal Commission was that a scheme should be established to compensate survivors. This scheme became known as the National Redress Scheme. The Jehovah's Witnesses organisation and the Watchtower Society have both joined the Redress Scheme to compensate child sexual abuse survivors. What is the National Redress Scheme? The National Redress Scheme acknowledges the significant trauma caused to people who experienced institutional childhood sexual abuse. It aims to help people access support and to hold institutions to account. The scheme helps eligible applicants to get access to three things: counselling, a direct personal response where the responsible institution acknowledges what happened and says sorry for the abuse, and a redress payment, which is decided on an individual basis from less than $10,000 to $150,000. If you receive an offer, you can choose to accept any or all of these. An institution is an organisation like a school, church, parish, congregation, club, orphanage, children's home, or government department. The abuse could have happened at the institution or where the institution's activities took place, such as during an event. The abuse could have been by an official of the institution, like a worker or volunteer. The abuse could have happened while under the care of the institution. For survivors of institutional abuse from within the Jehovah's Witnesses, the following examples may constitute institutional settings in which children were under the Jehovah's Witnesses' care, custody, supervision, control, or authority. These include the Kingdom Hall, including meetings, hall cleaning, and maintenance. At a formal congregation book study meeting held in a private home. Receiving assistance under the Jehovah's Witnesses Child Mentoring Program for fatherless boys and spiritual orphans. Building construction activities, including quick builds, using children as child labourers. Childminding services, including creche-type settings operated during the 1970s and the 1980s. Volunteering at assemblies and conventions, including cleaning and food preparation. The Assistance for Parents program, which operated at large religious gatherings. As a student enrolled in the Jehovah's Witnesses Theocratic Ministry School or the Literacy program. During religious education classes conducted by Jehovah's Witnesses in public high schools. As a patient in a pediatric ward of a public hospital in which a Jehovah's Witnesses chaplain provided services. As a short-term resident in one of the official Jehovah's Witnesses accommodation centres, such as those set up by the organisation's disaster relief committees. As a recipient of residential accommodation provided through the official Jehovah's Witnesses Convention Rooming Department. During the congregation visiting speaker hospitality arrangement or during congregational field service while in the care of another member of the congregation. Don't be deterred by the current disinformation being published by either the Jehovah's Witnesses institution or its public information department. Such disinformation includes the false claims that the religion of Jehovah's Witnesses does not and never has sponsored any activities that have resulted in children being under its care, custody, supervision, control, or authority. These claims are patently false. Who can apply? You may be eligible to receive redress through the scheme if you experienced sexual abuse when you were under 18 years of age, and the abuse happened before July 1st, 2018. If an institution was responsible for bringing you into contact with the person who abused you, and if you were born before 30th of June 2010, you are eligible. At the time you apply, you need to be an Australian citizen or a permanent resident. If you have been convicted of a crime and received a single sentence of imprisonment of 5 years or more, you can still apply. However, you will need to go through a special assessment process before you can access redress. To access redress, the institution or institutions responsible for the abuse must have joined the scheme. All congregations of Jehovah's Witnesses and various Watchtower Society entities have joined the redress scheme. Information on them can be found on the scheme's website. Thinking about applying. Deciding whether to apply to the scheme might not be easy. Apply when you are ready, at any time until the 30th of June 2027. You can apply to the scheme once only. However, you can withdraw your application and apply again, up until an independent decision maker has made a decision on your application. Before you apply, there are some things you should be aware of. The scheme is an alternative to seeking compensation through the courts. Although the payout from a court could be higher, the scheme requires a lower level of evidence. For survivors of institutional child sexual abuse from within the Jehovah's Witnesses organisation, the religion's two-witness rule does not apply to the redress scheme. The elders are not permitted to hold a judicial committee hearing over your application. Know More can help you consider your options. Know More is a free, independent legal service which provides advice and support around the National Redress Scheme. You can contact Know More via a free call 1800 605 762, or you can visit their website www.knowmore.org.au. If applying to the scheme, you can apply without having to pay for a private lawyer to represent you. You will need to write about what happened to you and how it has impacted your life. Redress Support Services can help you with this. If you have already received a payment for the abuse from the institution, such as an out-of-court settlement or through a previous scheme, that value may be deducted from any redress payment the scheme offers. What does the scheme payment mean for your finances? For example, redress payments are not considered income for the purposes of income tax or Social Security, but can be included as part of the assets test for Commonwealth Government payments. The information you provide in your application is protected and can only be used in limited circumstances. Some information will be provided to the institution to check things such as if you were in their care at the time of the abuse. The Jehovah's Witnesses organisation will not be involved in making a decision on your application. If you accept an offer, you will no longer be able to begin or continue civil action against the responsible institution or institutions it is associated with. This does not extend to the people who abused you and does not release anyone from criminal liability. It's normal to feel nervous or distressed about the idea of applying. If watching this has brought up difficult feelings for you, 24-hour telephone assistance is available via the following organisations. If you would like more information or support around the National Redress Scheme, Redress Support Services are available to help.